All right, let's dive into this. You sent over some pretty amazing recaps from last night's NBA games. 5 games just jam-packed with energy, close calls, and some absolutely incredible individual performances. So our goal here is to kind of go beyond the scores and pull out the really fascinating insights, the aha moments, so we can really understand what happened and, more importantly, why it all matters.
Yeah, it's really a great snapshot of what's happening across the league right now.
For sure. We're looking at the Phoenix Suns versus the Sacramento Kings, the Toronto Raptors against the Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets versus Los Angeles Lakers, the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Orlando Magic, and the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Memphis Grizzlies. So, yeah, lots to break down here. Let's start off in Phoenix with that Suns and Kings matchup. The Suns took this one pretty decisively, 122 to 106, and right away, their offensive firepower really jumps out at you. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker each had 22 points. But Tyus Jones, he was really something else with 20 points, hitting all 6 of his three-point attempts. Perfect from downtown.
Oh, yeah, that kind of performance from Jones when he's not necessarily one of your primary scorers, but he gets that hot from three-point range, it really throws a wrench in the opposing team's defensive strategy. They have to adjust their coverage, which can then open up opportunities for the Suns' offense elsewhere.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The Suns, as a team, shot an incredible 55.8% from three-point range.
Yeah.
That's the kind of efficiency that can just completely demoralize an opponent.
Absolutely. When a team's hitting threes like that, the floor spacing becomes massive. Defenders can't afford to cheat off anyone, which opens up driving lanes and makes things a lot easier inside the paint. It really changes the whole geometry of the game.
Now, on the Kings side, DeMar DeRozan put up 23 points. And Domantas Sabonis had a fantastic individual game with a triple-double, 12 points, 12 assists, and 11 rebounds. But it's interesting that even with that kind of all-around performance from Sabonis, the Kings just couldn't keep up. You think a triple-double would be a pretty good indicator that a player is controlling the game.
It really highlights that difference between individual brilliance and team cohesion. Sabonis obviously made a huge impact, but the Suns were just operating on a different level collectively, especially on offense. Their synergy just seemed to overwhelm any individual efforts from the Kings.
And, if we look at the bigger picture here, the Suns' defense played a crucial role, too. They took advantage of a whopping 19 turnovers from the Kings and turned them into 38 points. That's a huge swing in momentum and scoring opportunities. Makes you wonder, what defensive schemes were the Suns using that led to so many giveaways by the Kings? And how much did those mistakes actually derail Sacramento's game plan?
That's a great question. 38 points off turnovers isn't just luck. It usually means that a team is being forced into uncomfortable situations by the opposing defense. For the Kings, those turnovers could be a sign of issues with ball handling under pressure, or maybe their offensive sets were too predictable, allowing the Suns to anticipate passes and create steals. It wasn't just missed shots. It was a breakdown in ball security.
Moving on to that high-scoring game between the Toronto Raptors and the Utah Jazz, the Raptors ended up winning this one 126 to 118. Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley both led the scoring with 20 points each. And A.J. Lawson chipped in with a very solid 18 points. Really nice distribution of scoring there.
Yeah. You always love to see that kind of balanced attack. It means the Raptors aren't overly reliant on any one player to carry the scoring load. Makes them much tougher for opponents to defend.
It was a tight game, but it looks like a clutch three-pointer from Quickley with only 43 seconds left was the real turning point. That shot sparked a 16-2 run that sealed the win for Toronto. That kind of composure and execution in the final moments is absolutely crucial.
You're absolutely right. In those high-pressure situations, it's all about execution on both ends of the floor. Quickly's shot didn't just give them the lead. It probably had a huge psychological impact on the Jazz, too. Maybe shook their confidence a little bit in those final moments.
Another important point here is that the Jazz, despite Jordan Clarkson's 19 points, they suffered their 8th consecutive loss. So it makes you wonder, what are the deeper issues that are preventing the Jazz from closing out games? Especially when you see the Raptors executing so effectively under pressure. Is it a strategic issue? Lack of confidence? Something else entirely?
Yeah. 8 losses in a row is definitely concerning. It suggests that there might be some more fundamental problems than just a few missed shots at the end of games. It could be team chemistry, defensive lapses over the full 48 minutes, or maybe even strategic adjustments that aren't quite working in crunch time. Maybe they're missing that go-to scorer in the clutch. Or perhaps defensive breakdowns are happening at crucial moments.
Now, for a real nail-biter, the Denver Nuggets barely edged out the Los Angeles Lakers, 131 to 126. And the deciding factor, a clutch three-pointer by Jamal Murray, with just 5.6 seconds remaining on the clock. Talk about cutting it close.
Oh, yeah. Those are the moments that players live for. And to hit a shot like that under that kind of pressure, it says a lot about Murray's skill and mental toughness. That's the kind of play that can swing not just a single game, but potentially the entire momentum of a season.
Nikola Jokic led the Nuggets with his usual dominant performance, 28 points, while Murray added a crucial 26. These are the kind of contributions you expect from their star duo. They consistently deliver in those big moments.
Their two-man game is so incredibly difficult to defend, especially when the game is on the line. It's like they have this telepathic connection. They know each other's moves so well. It's nearly impossible for defenses to predict what they're going to do.
Now, the Lakers, even without key players like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, they put up a heck of a fight. Austin Reeves had a career-high 37 points, and Dalton Knecht added an impressive 32. So this really shows their resilience and how other players are stepping up and seizing those opportunities. You got to give them credit. They didn't back down.
It really speaks to the Lakers' depth and coaching that they were able to stay competitive against a top-tier team like the Nuggets without two of their main playmakers. Reeves and Knecht showed a lot of offensive firepower and confidence, which is a positive sign for the future of the team.
If we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, the Lakers actually rallied from a 13-point deficit to take a late lead. So it makes you wonder, what was it about the Nuggets in those final seconds that allowed them to pull out the victory? Was it their experience in close games, greater composure under pressure, or just the individual brilliance of Murray hitting that incredible shot? It feels like a combination of factors.
You're probably right. It's likely a mix of all those things. The Nuggets have been through countless pressure-packed situations together, and that experience probably gives them a certain level of comfort and composure in close games. And of course, Murray's shot was the ultimate difference maker, showcasing his ability to execute when it matters most. Sometimes having a player who can hit those clutch shots is all you need.
All right, let's move on to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They continued their impressive winning streak with their 7th straight victory, a 118-111 win over the Orlando Magic. And what's really fascinating here is how they pulled off the win. They were trailing 90-82 with just over 10 minutes left in the game, and then they went on a 13-0 run to take control. That's a massive momentum shift.
That kind of decisive run late in the game says a lot about their mental toughness and their ability to elevate their intensity when it matters most. It suggests a real belief within the team that they can overcome deficits and close out games effectively.
Dante DiVincenzo played a huge role in that comeback. He hit some really crucial shots, finished the game with 14 points. Julius Randle added a solid 22 points, and Rudy Gobert had another double-double with 12 points and 12 rebounds. A real team effort all around.
Exactly. While individual scoring outbursts can be exciting, it's that consistent contribution from multiple players on both ends of the floor that often leads to sustained success. The Timberwolves' ability to have different players step up at key moments is what makes them such a tough opponent.
Now, despite a phenomenal 43-point performance from the Magic's Paolo Banchero, it wasn't enough to stop the Timberwolves' late surge. This really highlights the difference between a cohesive team effort and even a truly dominant individual performance. What stands out to you about a team's ability to turn a game around like that in the final minutes? What are the key factors that enable that kind of momentum shift?
For me, what really jumps out is the collective will and the execution on both ends of the floor. A 13-0 run isn't just about scoring. It's about getting those stocks on defense. It suggests a level of focus and intensity that the Magic just couldn't match in those crucial moments. Banchero's scoring was incredible, but basketball is a team sport, and the Timberwolves proved that down the stretch.
Last but not least, the Cleveland Cavaliers continued their absolutely dominant run with a 133-124 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. This marks their 16th straight win. 16 wins in a row is just remarkable in the NBA. It speaks volumes about their consistency and their overall level of play.
Oh yeah, it's a testament to their coaching staff, the chemistry they have as a team, and their consistent execution on both offense and defense. To maintain that level of winning in the NBA night after night, it's a huge accomplishment. It shows they're a top-tier team.
Evan Mobley was instrumental in this win. He made a big impact on both sides of the ball. The Cavaliers had a very balanced offensive attack with multiple players scoring in double figures, including DeAndre Hunter with 18 points and Jarrett Allen with 16. Again, that spread-out scoring makes them so difficult to defend.
Absolutely. It means they have so many threats on offense. Opposing teams can't just focus on shutting down one or two players. That offensive versatility makes them incredibly tough to contain over the course of a game.
Ja Morant led the Grizzlies with a season-high 44 points, Absolutely incredible individual performance. But as we saw with Banchero, it just wasn't enough to overcome the Cavaliers' efficient offense and that strong team defense. 44 points usually gets you the win.
It really emphasizes the point that even exceptional individual performances can be neutralized by a strong and cohesive team effort from the opponent. It just shows how important it is to have a well-rounded team that can perform well as a unit.
And what's really fascinating about the Cavaliers' win is their ability to capitalize on turnovers and their superior shooting from beyond the arc. These are often hallmarks of a well-coached and very disciplined team.
Without a doubt, teams that take care of the ball and shoot efficiently from three are consistently among the best in the league. It suggests a well-designed offensive system and players who make smart decisions.
So what does all of this mean for you, our listener? Well, hopefully this deep dive into last night's NBA action has provided you with a lot more than just the scores. We've seen amazing offensive displays, clutch performances under pressure, dramatic momentum shifts, and just pure dominance. It really highlights the incredible variety and excitement of the NBA.
It does. Each of these games gives us a unique perspective on the different elements that contribute to winning basketball. From individual talent and strategy to team chemistry and mental toughness.
Think about it. Each of these games tells its own story about team dynamics, the impact of star players, and those crucial moments that can swing the outcome. Whether it's the significance of turnovers, the intense pressure of those last-second shots, or the momentum swings created by scoring runs, there's always something more going on beneath the surface. It's about so much more than just putting the ball in the basket.
That's what makes the game so fascinating. There's so many interconnected factors, and understanding those nuances really enhances your appreciation for the sport.
Here's a final thought to leave you with. Considering everything we've talked about tonight, what do you think is the single most important ingredient for a team to consistently perform at a high level in the NBA? Is it having superstars on the roster, an impenetrable defense, the ability to execute perfectly in clutch situations? Or maybe it's something less tangible, like team chemistry or great coaching. Perhaps a deeper look at team statistics and player performance trends could give us more clues. It's something to think about until our next deep dive.
It's a great question. And as we've seen tonight, different games can showcase the importance of different factors. In the end, long-term success probably requires a combination of all those things working together.
Thanks for joining me for another deep dive into the world of the NBA. We'll be back soon with more analysis, insights, and of course those aha moments that help you understand the game on a whole new level.
Looking forward to it.
Until next time,
See ya.
take care.